Coming to you from sunny Orlando, Florida, welcome to the Paperstac podcast, where we cover current topics in the note industry, give you tactics for your note business, and talk with industry leaders to make you a better note investor. And now, your hosts, Brett Burky and Rick Allen.
My name's Rick Allen. This is
Brett
Burky. We're here back for another episode of sharing our knowledge with you. Been like you said, a fluid summer.
Yeah, very fluid summer because people have vacations and sometimes someone's doing this, get the kids out of school. It's very fluid. Kids are back in school now, so it's nice. Nice.
Speaking of getting back to it, we've got a couple live events coming up.
That's right.
I'm excited. We've got two of them. The DME, Distressed Mortgage Expo, put on by Liz Brummer and Kimberly Fawcett, which is going to be great. We're super excited about that. Right here close to home. And then I'm really looking forward to Note Expo with Eddie Speed, Note School, Colonial Funding, Bob Repass out there in Dallas, which is in November. We will have a booth at both, and I'm fortunate enough that I was able to get up on stage and speak at the Note Expo again. So they always love going there, love speaking. Always a great event there.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys are looking for events to get back into, please let us know. I'm sure we have a promo code or something.
We do. We have a promo code
that we can put out for both of those.
Yeah, and the one at DME is actually going to be in Sarasota on the 29th of the 30th of September.
It's actually not in Sarasota. It's in St. Pete.
Oh, good.
It's in St. Pete. Don't listen to Brad. It's St. Pete, and it is September 30th and October 1st.
Got the date and the city are on.
So don't worry about it. He's not a details guy. He's more of a big
Hey, got the right month.
Yeah. He got the right month.
And in the right coast of Florida. So that was a good start.
It is on the West Coast. So you know what? Fair enough, Sarasota and St. Pete is kind of the same waterways.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, those should be two good events. I know the one in Sarasota, or the DME is going to be, it's at the Hilton there. Hilton's always got really nice properties.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking through the speakers on there. It looks like there's some pretty good speakers.
Yeah.
So
I'm really excited to see some people that I've talked to that you've known them for so long, but you've never actually
met them. I've spoken to people on the phone.
Yeah.
I've answered questions. People come up and say, I feel like I know you from the podcast or from YouTube. And
yeah, so it's going to be really cool.
Be nice to shake
hands.
So
if you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast, you got to come by and say hello. Say what's up. We got sure we'll have stuff at the booth, right? We always have stuff at the booth.
Yeah, we always have stuff at the booth. Come by, say hello. We'll be there. Brett and Mike will probably be there.
Yes.
So
Mike is a developer that nobody ever sees, but
Mike's an owner.
Yes, he's also an owner.
Yeah, Mike is his co-founder. Mike's a big part of the company. Oftentimes unrecognized, but very much important part of where we are today. Yeah, the glue. So what do we have in store today? Tell me about it.
Okay, so this one's interesting. So we get a lot of these things that we learn from people's different closings, situations where people are new. This one was where the person that is closing wanted to have a special type of closing, so they didn't understand the whole idea of the hello, goodbye letters. What does that affect? And so they wanted to move things around. And I didn't give a good answer, but talking to Rick, his answer made a lot of sense. I was like,
so here's like kind of the details of it. The user on the platform entering in, buying one of their first notes, and they wanted to make sure that the money wasn't released until the hello or the goodbye letter was sent.
That's right.
And that's just typically not how it's done. The way things typically work. And I understand why there's a confusion, because you're like, if you don't send out the goodbye letter, then it's not really my loan. And so a lot of things can happen. The goodbye letter, though, and the hello letter there's certain time frames that you have to follow. There are laws that you have to do or you get in trouble with the CFPB.
Is that waiting 30 days after you've taken it?
No, that's a cooling off period. So the way it works is the goodbye letter has to go out no earlier than 15 days prior to the transfer date on the loan.
Are you new to the mortgage note industry? Have you been wanting to learn the step-by-step process to purchase your first mortgage note? Well, you're in luck. We've convinced our CEO, Rick Allen, to break down everything he knows about mortgage note investing. Through a series of 50 videos, you'll get everything from start to finish of where to purchase notes, how to purchase notes, and all of Rick's investing techniques he has developed over the many years. From performing note tactics to non-performing notes, Rick gives you everything he knows about investing. Bonuses include our glossary of industry terms, Rick's own proprietary calculators he created to evaluate notes, discounts from our partners, our Rolodex of vendors, a private Facebook group, along with a lot more. We've packed so much content into the Academy to take you from beginner to expert in no time. To learn more about the Academy, go to academy.paperstac.com/welcome. Again, that is academy.paperstac.com/welcome.
Okay.
So the date that the two servicing companies work out, this is the day the loan will transfer from the seller's servicer to the buyer's servicer. Right?
Yep.
And then the goodbye or the hello letter can go out no later than 15 days after the transfer date.
Gotcha.
So goodbye letter can't go out any earlier than 15 days before the transfer date. Hello letter, not more than 15 days after the transfer date. So what happens if we close something tomorrow, but it's not really ready to transfer?
Yeah.
There's something called the interim servicing, and that's in the PSA. It is in the PSA, and it's just industry standard. So what will happen is the seller's servicing company will still service the loan up until the transfer date. And then at that transfer date, at that point, you will go ahead and any payments that were sent that should be credited to the buyer, we'll go ahead, they will forward those to the new servicer at the transfer date. And that's what happens. So they'll still take money in if it's supposed to be credited towards the buyer. They're still going to do it during the interim servicing.
Interesting. And so those things have nothing to do with cutoff date or close date.
No.
How do those work? And it just doesn't matter.
Cutoff date's the date that's agreed upon between the buyer and the seller on, look, this is the day that you stop getting funds as a seller and I start getting them as buyers. So if we have a cutoff date of September 30th and a payment comes in on the 29th, it's due to the seller. Something comes in October 1st, it's going to be due to the buyer. What happens if the transfer date is not until
October 15th.
October 15th or October 20th?
That buyer will get those funds sent to them.
It'll have to be forwarded over from the servicer. Now, is it always flawless? Does it always happen? No, you have to be aware of what's going on. Usually what will happen is when the loan is transferred over to the incoming servicer, the buyer servicer, they'll look at it. They'll look at the payment history and say, I see the cutoff date. I see when these funds came in, they're due to us.
Oh, wow. So it's usually on the buyer servicer to make sure they're paying attention.
Yeah, because when the buyer servicer is getting the pay history and onboarding the loan,
They need to check that.
that's one of the things that they check for. Yeah, that's sort of the hello goodbye letter. Those dates are nailed in concrete. They got to be in a certain time frame. The transfer date can get pushed forward or pushed backward as needed. It's just once you set your transfer date and you decide that's the date of the transfer, you got to make sure that your letters are in compliance.
This is just a big fat curveball, but what would happen if I'm the seller, you're the buyer, we had to set the cutoff date for the 30th of September, a full loan payoff comes in on the 29th. Does that go to me, although I sold it to you?
Yeah, well, what would usually happen is there's language in the PSA that there's some sort of payoff. It would have to, obviously you're not going to buy a loan that's not there anymore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And sometimes it's happened to where we're like, hey, this one a payoff just came in on this. We can't sell this loan. So I would let the people know, hey, we can't sell the loan.
You refund their money.
Yeah, of course. You refund their money. And if there was due diligence costs that went into it, I'll usually pay the due diligence costs. I'm like, look, if you paid for a BPO and O&E, I'm sorry. Here you go. Here's $300 or whatever it costs.
So that's happened before.
Yeah, that has happened. And it's happened to me it's happened to me on both sides, as the buyer and as the seller.
Really?
So it's the nature of our business.
But if as soon as a buyer bought it, there's a payoff, it goes straight to the buyer.
Yeah.
Wow. Has that ever happened to you?
No. No, not that I know of.
Not that lucky, huh?
No, it happened pretty close, though.
Really?
Yeah, we had one that was pretty close, but it was like weeks later, and it was just kind of out of the blue.
That's good, though, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's perfect. What can you do? Nothing, right? It's just
a win.
nature of it. Hey, I was happy with the purchase or the purchase price, right? It was making me whole. Would I have been much happier getting the payoff? Probably. But you win some, you lose some. That one I still made money, so it is what it is.
Interesting. Okay, so is that everything with this?
Yeah, that's really it. Just to understand that it's the transfer date that's really important. There might be servicers who are pulling their hair out right now because they think the wrong stuff. But at the end of the day, my experience has been, I can always caveat it with that, my experience has been that transfer date can be shifted, and it's just whenever the hello letter does go out and the transfer date's nailed down, what will happen is that you'll see it. All the dates kind of start showing up in the hello. Now it is something that you will see where somebody's like, look, I need a copy of the goodbye letter. I need a copy of it. So sometimes they want to see it in front. I need a copy of the goodbye letter to close, that's fine. You just say, here, I need this goodbye letter.
And you get that from your servicer.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So that's a good one. That's a really good.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's a
unique
good
one.
Like you said, we see stuff that pops up on the platform in transactions that happen. And that's a great little nugget that a lot of people probably should know about.
Yeah. Other people can benefit from those type of things. Yeah. That's it. So that's it. We're back in effect, and it took a week off, but
we're back moving along. So look forward to seeing you at DME or Note Expo. Please let us know if you're looking to go. We can get you our promo code, stuff like that.
Yep. All right. We'll see you in the next one.
Thanks.